Well, hello everyone. It's Angela with Mystic Moon bringing you guys your Divine Masculine weekly forecast. So this week's theme is going to be, what are their secret desires for you? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the general energy here on Mystic Moon, and then we're going to go a little bit deeper. Those messages might be just a little erotic, so that's why we're going to be doing them on another forum. So if you guys are interested in seeing what your person is thinking about you, truly desiring, just all that erotic stuff, that will be on the other channel. So that's the extended version, and that link will be down below. So anyways, you guys, just take what resonates for you and get rid of anything that doesn't. Today's Organites here are created by Michelle from Wing and Bell, and all the decks I'll be using here today, they will be listed down below as well. So let's go ahead and get started and see, what do we need to know about our Divine Masculine this week and what's going on with this connection. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to take a look at is, how does your Divine Masculine see you this week? So we're going to actually go into my Holiday Cheer Oracle and get some topics on how this masculine is feeling towards the feminine this week. All right, what is the headspace of this masculine this week towards this feminine and how he's seeing her this week? We have eggs in one basket, okay? So there's something regarding this energy of putting all of the eggs into one basket. That doesn't necessarily mean he's doing it. He could be thinking about that. He could be thinking about a bunch of different options and just trying to hone in on one thing. So let's go ahead and get another message to just kind of connect the messages together here. This is my Arrows of Love Oracle. All right, what do we need to understand and know about this masculine's mental space when it comes to him thinking about eggs in one basket? Ooh, okay, so that's a good sign. So this could be feminine, that your masculine is starting to kind of narrow down his options. It might be that if he is in a situation where maybe he's dating other people, or he's spending time with other people, or he's single, this could be him wanting to perhaps put all of his eggs into your basket. So it does say secure, kind of secure that little nest here, build a nest egg with you. All right, let's go ahead and get some tarot cards with my Arrows of Love Tarot. What is the energy here of this masculine with this eggs in one basket business? Ooh, okay, Fool. New love. So this doesn't necessarily mean like it's a new love. It's just a new phase. This is about taking a risk, taking a chance, you guys. So I feel for some of you, you could be dealing with a masculine that maybe you've been having issues and challenges with, but maybe these things have created a stronger connection in the long run. Absence sometimes makes the heart grow fonder. Sometimes you have to lose certain things before you can really value them. So I kind of feel like that's the opening message here this week, is that you're dealing with a masculine who is really starting to see your worth, really starting to see your value, and really wanting to take a risk and to enter in an entirely new phase with you. That is what I'm seeing. So he's really thinking about it. Now, this doesn't mean that the masculine is communicating this to the feminine. It could just be that he's thinking about it, but this is on his mind this week when it comes to the feminine. Very interesting. So let's go ahead and see what is in the heart space. What is the emotion of this masculine this week towards the feminine? Romantic feelings. So there are some romantic feelings that the masculine is having this week towards the feminine. Maybe if you guys are in separation, he could be feeling nostalgic. It could be that he's actually coming towards you and he's making this connection with you once again. Maybe you guys are spending some time, doing some romantic things. So let's go ahead and get another card. What else is going on in the emotions of this masculine? Ooh, available. Making himself available for the feminine. So some of you guys might be thinking to yourselves like, this is not the vibe, but this just could be what is starting to transform in the masculine's heart space. Maybe this is something where he's becoming more available to this idea of the two of you being together and building a life together. That could be it. All right, let's go ahead and get a tarot card. Okay, we have the Nine of Flames. I feel like this Nine of Wands energy survivor business, this has something to do with you guys have gone through a lot, or it could be that the masculine has gone through some trauma. I mean, haven't we all? We've all gone through different things in our lives, but it could be that this particular masculine has put a fortress around his heart for so long. He has done a really good job of maybe pushing the feminine away, making her feel like he is not available to love her, but there's something that's transforming in his heart this week. So I love that we're looking looking at his heart, his energy, and it's coming up in the form of a heart space. A heart shape. And we've got this thunder and like this lightning bolts going through with a lot of water or tears. So what I'm going to say, feminine, is that if you've been dealing with a masculine who has really put a lot of effort into keeping you at bay, pushing you away, maybe even trying to sabotage this connection, I'm not trying to say that he's just going to turn it all around this week, but there is something that he is feeling where he is opening himself up to maybe the possibility of letting you in. Maybe you're not the enemy. Maybe he's starting to realize that the reason that he's been shutting himself down is because, he's afraid. So he could just be really going through some sort of internal shifts and changes this week when it comes to thinking about you and the way that he feels about you this week. So that's what I'm getting here. All right. But it could also be you guys have gone through a lot, and it's like what didn't kill your connection only made it stronger. So it might be that you guys are about ready to enter into a new phase very soon. So let's take a look at the 3D energy. So what's going on in the environment around the two of you? What is the energy for this masculine? We have unwind. So I feel like in the masculine's environment, he could have asked for some space from his feminine in order to unwind, in order to just kind of take some space for himself. So it could be that in this space, or just wherever he is at right now in his world, that's where this is taking place. This is what's happening here. This is where his emotions, he's in a safe space to be able to, open himself up to how he truly feels and really contemplate things and really look at them and just examine everything that he's feeling and everything he's gone through. Okay, so we have honeymoon, early stages. So I feel like this masculine, I'm getting a couple of messages actually. This masculine is starting to realize that he's really good at starting things, but he's not good at finishing things. So some of you guys could have really gone through an amazing period, especially in the beginning when you first came together with this masculine. He was all end, but obviously as time went by, maybe his wounds, his issues caused him to pull back severely and put this connection on a halt, basically. And so some of you feminines out there might be scratching your heads just trying to think, I don't understand what happened. And we're not excusing behavior, and we're not saying that this is okay what's going on, but everybody deals with things differently, and it could just be this masculine style right now to pull back and maybe reflect before proceeding forward. But I'm also getting that some of you guys are actually going back to dating again. Some of you are going back to spending some time together, maybe not going full force, but just kind of taking things slow and just kind of seeing how things unwind. And so this could be a good pace for both you and the masculine moving forward this week. And we have the Youth of Flames, which is the Page of Wands, arousing energy. So it might be that you guys are spending some time really, romancing each other. But it can also be just like very stimulating on all levels. It's very exciting. It's like you guys are creating something new. That Wands energy is fire, it's passion, it's action. And maybe you guys are just spending this time, or at least this masculine is thinking about unwinding with you, feminine. That unwind means opening up to you and maybe going back to the beginning and rediscovering each other all over again. So I just feel like right now this masculine is really thinking about starting fresh and starting new with the feminine. And if that's not happening, this is just what he's feeling and thinking. And I also feel like for maybe some of you as well, is that this masculine is just kind of trying to figure out who he is, and maybe going back to the early stages of who he is, and maybe even exploring his inner child, because the pages can sometimes be like childlike. So maybe rediscovering himself and just kind of taking some time for him. So just take what resonates for you guys this week, but I feel like there's a lot of different things that are happening in this collective. All right, so let's go ahead and take that, the soul's energy. How does the masculine feel deep down in his soul when it comes to this feminine? What is the soul vibe? Ask and you shall receive. Dear Santa. So of course, Dear Santa is to me childhood. Obviously we believe in Santa Claus when we're younger, possibly it just depends on how you were raised. But, that is that feeling of believing in something. Ask and you shall receive. I feel like this masculine right now on a deep soul level does feel moved or called to make contact with the feminine, especially if there's no contact right now. So this is something where he is thinking of starting over with her, thinking about hitting that reset button with the Fool. On a soul level, he feels moved or called to do this. To rediscover this, to going back. So I feel like for the majority of you, this is a situation where you guys are probably have been in a challenge or a separation. So this is the masculine on a deep soul level feeling called and moved to go back to the past of what the two of you had, to revisit this connection once again. So that's what I'm seeing this week. And to work to see how you guys can work it out. 3 of Keys, 3 of Pentacles. So you guys can come together and cooperate, collaborate, actually see each other in the physical world. So to me, this is not just a message. This is a message to see one another. This is a message to see what can happen here, how you guys can rebuild, how you guys can, work things through now. Because maybe in the past where the both of you were at, that wasn't going to work out. But maybe there has been enough time and separation and maybe even work that's been done that it's something that can actually work currently instead of, being disastrous like it may have been in the past. So this is where the masculine's vibe's at this week with you feminine. So I hope that resonates or helps you a little. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and shift gears and we're going to go into what is the shadow, what's been the holdup here, what's been blocking the situation. What kind of fears does the masculine have at this time, just with his own self, with his own issues? Because I feel like there has been something that's held this back for quite some time. So let's go deeper into it. We're going to go into the denied shadow oracle here. What's been the holdup here? The holdup for this masculine. What are the things that he is working on clearing? Maybe these inner child wounds. Interesting, we have settling. So settling energy, settling for things that are not ideal. So I feel like maybe the masculine has had to settle for unsatisfactory situations for a while. And this is something that maybe it's just kind of like accepting things that he doesn't want to accept. So there's some sort of a shadow or an issue surrounding that, okay? So it says someone has resigned themselves to accepting less. If you guys are dealing with a masculine who is in a unhappy situation currently, whether that is a job or some sort of family trauma where, siblings or family members are taking and it's having a really negative effect on this masculine, or he is in a relationship with someone that he doesn't really truly love, but he feels like he just needs to kind of settle. This could be something right now that is an issue. This is my Dark Night of the Soul Tarot. Let's see what else we need to know. Yeah, taken for granted. 6 of Decay. I feel like this masculine has probably been duped in the past. He has probably been lied to, betrayed, and deceived. Now, this might be something where he has played this out with you, as in he has been taken for granted, and then he has taken you for granted, feminine. Sometimes this can be a settling of karma. And I'm not saying like, oh, that's what we need in order to change, but sometimes you do need to go through something and then do it yourself before you realize, wow, okay? We're all capable. We're all capable of hurting people. Whether we choose to do it or not is a different story. Whether we have that internal compass that's basically guiding us and saying, that's probably not the best thing to do. But sometimes you have to go through it yourself in order for you to realize just how, messed up things can be, or how human beings can just, fall into that, either just behavior or whatever. There's been things in my past that I've done where I'm just like, wow, I've had that done to me, but then I turned around and I did it to somebody else. And you're just like, why? Why would someone do that? And then you reflect on that and you think, well, okay, now I understand. So it's like you're settling this situation with yourself. You're settling your own internal moral compass through the things that you do, through the mistakes that you make. And so I feel like there's something going on here for this masculine right now with some of the shadow work that he's doing that hurt people, end up hurting people. People that sometimes are, abused can sometimes turn around and abuse people. And it's like, why would I do that? Why would I want to do something to someone else that was done to me? And I know that I hated it. I know that that was not cool. sometimes that's just what happens. I don't understand mental health completely. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. I'm sure that there's a science behind this, but I just feel like there's something going on here where this masculine was taken for granted, and now it might be that this is affecting him so much that he's now turning around and he's displaying this unsatisfactory behavior with either you, feminine, or just other people. So there's a balancing of scales I'm getting here that's happening for this masculine. He's learning by trial and error is what I'm getting. Okay. But I feel like some of them could be being taken for granted. Someone's trying to take something from them and they're allowing it. And it could be because they don't have a lot of self-esteem or self-worth. And so they're allowing people around them to basically take from them or, ruin their lives. And they know that it's happening, but they don't have the tools in order to pull themselves out of it. But this could just be something that is now starting to resolve itself. Rejection fear, oversensitivity to being abandoned or rejected. Okay. So some of them could have a major abandonment wound. It's like it's at their core. This, of course, could be from some sort of trauma from the past, all the way back to childhood. And, it just kind of depends on the masculine. If the masculine is aware of this, if the masculine is aware of this pattern that keeps popping up for him. But, again, this is not an excuse for the masculine's behavior, but he could take people for granted or not really appreciate them or only be able to get involved with them up until a certain point. And then he needs to pull away because he fears that rejection. So let me reject you before you reject me. So some of you feminines could feel like you got taken here for granted by this masculine. Just so you guys know, the Six of Decay in this deck is the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is not an equal exchange of give and take. It's not reciprocal. So what they give is not what you give, you don't get back, or vice versa. So you take and you don't give back. So there's some kind of energy here. And it's a settling of this karma, settling of debt. I almost feel like this masculine could be in a karmic relationship and he's settling some sort of debt in that karmic partnership to learn how to become a better version of himself. So that could be what's happening right now for some of you feminines. You know that this masculine is in a karmic relationship. And it actually is a blessing in disguise. But I feel for some of you feminines, you're looking at this and it might be that you're demonizing someone else or you're demonizing the masculine. And it's only natural to do that. But when we do that, we're not taking into account that everyone is human at the end of the day. Now, it doesn't make it okay with what people do, but when you really strip back and you peel back all the layers of the onion, you see the core of who someone is. You no longer have to hate them. You no longer have to despise them. You no longer have to feel so bitter about them. So let's just say there's a karmic partner involved and you guys know that this person is taking advantage of your masculine, narcissistic as hell. Very, very hard to see narcissists as human beings. It's very difficult. But the thing is, we realize that when we feel bitter and angry and we're like blaming someone else for the demise or the problems that someone's experiencing, all we're doing is we're blame shifting. We're blaming someone else. We're holding somebody else accountable for what's going on. Everybody is accountable for themselves at the end of the day. So I feel like this masculine, no matter what his situation might be, no matter what he has gone through, he's going to have to figure it out for himself. We can't do the work for him. We can't even we might be able to point it out to him, but whether or not he's going to see it or not is up to him. So I just feel, feminine, that you are dealing with a masculine who is really being guided right now with that star's energy. This is Aquarius, by the way. Through the star's energy, this is divine intervention. This is being guided by your guides and the divine basically leading the way towards the light. But sometimes we have to battle our demons. Sometimes we have to do things, learn by trial and error before we actually get to the core of what needs to heal. And I feel like there's this rejection, fear, abandonment wound that this masculine is carrying. And what he's doing is he's playing this out in situations or other relationships that aren't good for him, that just basically reiterate this wound. So feminine, what I'm getting here is that you're not the lesson for him. Someone else might be the lesson, or other things in his life might be the lesson for him to settle this debt within himself, to settle something within himself. Now, this could also be a masculine that has triggered this within you, feminine. So rather than demonizing it, rather than being, looking at the masculine as he's evil, because sometimes that can happen. We can really demonize people. Look at it for what it is. Again, not making it okay. But instead of being in that bitter rage or that bitter just state, really try to work on what needs to be healed within you. And this will actually help you. And this will help you moving forward not to be taken for granted again. Because if this masculine is taking you for granted, feminine, and you're allowing it, then and you're blaming him, for all of this, you're not doing the work, you're not taking accountability for your part in your own healing and what your own behavior in the situation. It always takes two people. And yes, I know that there are just really dark people out there in the world that are just looking to screw you over and you didn't do anything to deserve it. So it's not about that, but it is about looking at what is in us. What did we do on our end? What could we have done differently? What red flags did we choose not to see? Where did we go wrong? There's always something here. So I feel like the feminine can also settle something within herself and look at the situation that she either got herself involved in or what she could have maybe seen or done differently. And this will also help you guys with your own issues as well. So yeah, there's definitely some sort of major energy going on with settling, definitely spiritual ascension with the star to me. There's a spiritual ascension that's taking place right now. But some of you feminines, this is not... Your masculine's work is being done elsewhere, not with you. He may have triggered you, and so you're doing your own work. But this masculine's settling of some sort of karma or wound healing is coming from a different source. And it's in that situation or environment that he's going to work it out. So some of you guys might feel abandoned by your masculine. You guys might not feel like you're that important. But trauma feels, I'm not saying it feels way more powerful than the light. So some of you might feel that your masculine has abandoned you for someone else, that he loves someone else more than you. And instead of focusing on that, realize that trauma is more attractive. Trauma is much more appealing if you're broken. Trauma feels, and I keep using that word, it feels, not that it is, it feels more powerful. Okay? Especially if you've got those wounds, it's going to be very attractive. So there's some kind of settling of a debt in another situation or outside of your connection with your masculine, feminine. And that's just something that's coming up in the reading today. So try not to take it personally if there are either other people involved or if your masculine needs this time and space. That does not equate to you're waiting for your masculine and you're making everything that he is doing that could be negative okay. I definitely am not suggesting that at all. I definitely suggest for everybody to stay empowered and to work on themselves and to keep themselves safe, okay? So now let's go ahead and take a look at this current sensual erotic vibe, okay? What is this current sensual erotic vibe here that is coming through for this connection? So we're going to go into a couple of different decks here. We're going to try this Love and Lust deck by Fire Witch Tarot. Okay, so we have the challenge. Interesting. It says, holding on to a connection that cannot be just yet is painful. It's tempting you to break the rules. Will you stand the test of time? Give into your desires or lust, as in question, or be seduced by the challenge of absence. Interesting. So what I'm getting, you guys, is that the vibe right now is that people are actually very much turned on by the challenge of what is not in front of them or what is not pursuing them. So I feel like this could be a good thing for the feminine to, and it's not about playing games. You shouldn't have to play games with people in order for them to recognize you or pay attention to you. But what I'm seeing from this is that if feminines, if you have been calling your masculine a lot, checking in, trying to make some sort of headway, and it's just falling on deaf ears, or you're even kind of getting the opposite response, which is your masculine being engaged or even seeking you out or messaging you, or, so like if you're calling someone, but they're not calling you back, or you're texting them and they're like waiting hours or even sometimes days or weeks to get back to you, that's somebody that's not interested. They're not into it. They're not into it. They might care about you. They're just not into it. And sometimes when we keep pushing, because we can become very triggered by that, it makes us want to figure out why. It makes us want to understand, why is this person, they don't seem that into me. Best thing that you could possibly do when you're in that situation is pull back completely. Stop communication, stop pushing, stop reaching out. And it seems to me like the vibe right here is that it's more tempting to come towards someone when they're not engaging with them, when they're just kind of doing their own thing. That's a very attractive quality I'm getting here. So that's the vibe this week, is that the more that we just kind of focus on ourselves, or even remain a little bit of a challenge. So let's just say this masculine does return. Maybe don't see him right away. Make him work for it. Make him really, really appreciate what he walked away from, or maybe even what he lost. Don't just make it super easy for him to just come back. Again, I'm not suggesting that you guys play a game, but just really think about what is attractive. What's not attractive is somebody just, dumping somebody else to be with you. Like, that's just crazy, that's just crazy. Or somebody that's just immediately available within 5 minutes time. It's just it's not attractive. So be a little bit more of a challenge I'm getting. And I feel like this is going to pay off better for you, feminine. And this could also be one of the reasons why maybe you feel so attracted to the masculine this week, is because you're unsure about how he feels. Maybe he's not talking to you. Maybe you guys are in separation. Also realize that sometimes less is more, and that can create a lot of attraction and a lot of anxiety even, and a lot of thoughts and fantasies about people when they're not in our lives. So just be mindful of that as well. So let's go ahead and go into my Divine Masculine Tarot and see what else the vibe is of this connection this week. Oh, I love this. This is amazing. So judgment, taking responsibility for my past actions. I feel like this is actually something that has been coming through the reading the entire time. So this just confirms it for me. It confirms it for me that I feel the masculine is definitely visiting his past. He wants to take responsibility. So if something happened here, feminine, with this masculine, and he does come back and he wants to resurrect this connection, that's wonderful. You don't have to say no. But you don't have to just jump on it super quick and make it super easy for this masculine. I feel like it will be way more appealing, which is why it's coming through with the erotic vibe. It will be way more appealing if you take it slow, if you don't seem so available and not at his beck and call. I feel like this will work out so much better for you if you just kind of try to play it a little bit more cool, okay? Wow, 10 of Pentacles. I mean, we go from being very confused to 10 of Pentacles, like, you're what I want. You feel like home to me. You're it. I feel like this masculine may have had to go out, for some, and realize that the grass wasn't so greener on the other side. They may have chosen wrong, but just because they did that and they realize so much now, like I said, feminines, don't just immediately open your arms and say whatever. There's got to be some sort of consequence for everything. If a child just breaks the rules, or this is anybody that breaks the law, breaks the rules, and there's no consequences, sorry, you just don't learn. You don't appreciate, you don't value rules. You don't value money if you just are given the money and you don't just, you don't earn the money. So it's thinking in terms of that, feminines, this week. Don't just jump into playing house, instant commitment. Let's move in together. Let's get married. Make him work for it. I'm just getting this. This will be much more of a turn on and appeal here. I haven't let you go. So feminines, some of you feminines are going to either get a message this week, or your masculine is heavily in this energy that he's not done. He hasn't forgotten about you. Just because he's been distant or quiet or has pulled away or maybe even entered into another situation, that does not mean that he's done here. That means that he hasn't let you go. He's thinking about how comfortable he is with you, and how he does want to take responsibility for what went down. And I just feel the way that you go about this reconnection or this conversation is going to, you need to create more of a challenge for this masculine. Maybe you didn't before, and that doesn't mean that, oh, you screwed it up or that you could have done it differently and this is why he disengaged. But some of you guys might just be dealing with someone that needs a little bit more of to work harder for something, to appreciate it. Lots of people are like that. And it has nothing to do with trauma. It's just a turn on. It's a turn on when someone has their own life, when they say no once in a while, or when they're not readily available for you every moment of every day. That is appealing. That is attractive. That just means someone has their own life. They're their own person, and that they aren't needy on you to feel certain things. That is very, very appealing and attractive. So that seems to be, the message this week for the feminine. So I really hope that this resonated on some level. But if you guys are interested in seeing a lot of the, the other stuff that I was talking about earlier, I have to be very careful with how I say things, or else the video can sometimes become not available for all viewers. So anyways, if you guys want to go deeper into some of this very, sensual activity and energy of the things, we're going to take a look at what are their current traumas and hangups surrounding, sex. And then we're going to go into what would they like to do with you, and what their current fantasy is. And if they could just let go and be completely, just abandon themselves, what does that energy look like? Okay. And that's pretty much what that whole reading is going to be about. It's going to be very explicit and very sensual, and a lot of just different energies like that. So anyways, I hope me saying that didn't mess up this particular reading here on YouTube, but hey, it is what it is. So if you guys would like to join me over there for some hot and steamy stuff, then definitely take a look at the link that I have down below. And if not, no worries. I will just see you guys next time. And thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.